This is me. Hi. Hi, Pan. We're live.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up? How you doing, friend?
I
Um,
am. I'm good. How are you doing, friend?
I am really doing good now that we're up here and live after fighting those
Yeah,
gremlins.
we definitely didn't have any problems. We got straight in. It was a smooth transition. I woke up. I woke up. We were just like, it's time to go. That was it. That was like 10 minutes ago.
Right.
Yeah, there was no trouble
For
at all.
for anyone else who is like, who are they? Or oh, they're late. Hi, welcome. We are the organizers at Hoard of Tales, and we are here just to kind of shoot the shit, chat, have fun, talk about TTRPGs, and maybe break the internet. Who knows? My name is Aida. My pronouns are she and her. I am a Latina woman with tan skin, dark eyes, dark hair, and I am wearing a blue t-shirt with a baby Yoda on it. You can see it, and a pink cardigan. Who you?
Hey, I'm Pat. My pronouns are he, they, and she. Location. I am a dark-skinned, male-bodied individual. I have messy braids at the moment. Glasses. I'm wearing a checked yellow shirt, which I am shocked I can still fit in, and I'm looking forward to getting to it.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. And thanks everyone else for coming up and hanging out with us. I will be keeping an eye on the chat if there are questions in good faith. And we're just gonna chill for like at least an hour ish here.
Hmm.
And I guess just to start off, one of the things that is happening in the TTRPG community that I am watching with a lot of enthusiasm is Black History Month, specifically for the US, especially
Yeah.
highlighting the TTRPG creators. Um, Hoard of Tales, for the record, if you're not familiar, we are primarily Europe, UK based. We are not US centered. There's a
Absolutely
lot of
not.
community that is US centered. That seems to be the default. World exists outside the wonderful shores from sea to shining sea. But nonetheless, we, Pan and I, and Horde of Tales, stan all the amazing Black TTRP creators in the US. And we
Absolutely.
also stand with the Black TTRP creatives outside the US too. And there are plenty of them. And we
Hmm.
have some thoughts on who we want to particularly say, like, we love you, we see you, keep doing it. You got some names for us, Pan?
Sure, sure. I want everyone. Hey, I don't want keep doing it, all of us. But specifically today, right now, these guys. We're gonna have a look at some of our list. Now, a little while ago, I've actually made a list of Bible TTRPG players in the UK, of whom many are black, as it is Black History Month in the States. Ours in the UK is October, I believe.
October. We're gonna
Yeah.
do this again, Pan, in October. We're gonna have a chat and we're
Oh
just
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
be
Yeah.
like
I'll be
full
right
on.
back here. I'll be right back here. But yeah, let's take a look at this list here real quick. So we got I'm gonna kick off with Apollo. Um,
Apollo is amazing.
yeah,
Apollo, we see you. We love you. Who is
yeah.
Apollo, Pen? For those who unfortunately haven't heard of Apollo.
Well, I'll take Apollo's own words. They're an Irish voice actor, cosplayer, and TTRPG performer. They're a Twitch affiliate. They're currently playing Eri on Hearthfire Tales, and they're just
Like
a
right
little
now.
guy. This is no, I mean like currently
Okay, okay.
in this time frame,
Because
not
we'll
right
rate
now.
him otherwise later.
We're coming for you, Apollo. But yeah, this little guy. I've worked with Apollo a couple of times on shows. We had a little bit. I have to handle it. Their enthusiasm, their energy is on point. Um, just even when we played one game where they were a brooding, in the dark corner kind of character, and even that was a delight because of Apollo. So yeah, absolutely shout out to them. Also, their cosplay is on point. I'm very jealous.
Oh my
I'm
god.
so jealous. I'm just mad
Their
about it.
Spider-Man is amazing. They have
I'm super
like
mad
the
about it.
body type for it and everything,
Yep.
and it's just like, oh,
So yeah, shout out to you, Apollo. I hate that you're so fit, but it's fine. I respect your work, so it's cool.
we give by the grace of us, Apollo, you are allowed to further exist and thrive.
He said by the grace of also by the grace of ass.
Your own interpretation, Pan.
But yes, do check out Apollo. You can find them. What are we doing? We're doing the. I don't know if they have a blue sky, but I know they have a Twitter, which is
There
Tall Nerd
are
Apollo.
They are also tall nerd Apollo on Blue Sky as well.
Is it the same? Yeah, there you go. Check them
Yeah,
out.
easy peasy. So, an individual that I had on my list that is UK and EU centered, even though it is US. Boohoo. We're going to talk about them too. Um, geez, are you familiar with Lola? Third Vault Yarns.
Oh
They
yeah,
them.
Lola's a sweetheart. Yes, yes. We
Lola. They
played
am
a Starfinder
NB
game.
UK based. They say that they're mostly in the yarn and creative crocheting kind of hobbyist, which is great. Their
Mm,
website and their works, they sell knitting patterns, crocheting patterns, hand dyed yarns, curated yarns as well. But their website also has like here's a uh, here's a selection that is anime based. Here's a selection that is
yep,
TTRPG
yep, yep.
based. But they're also in so many other TTRPG spaces, and they always have this like really mature, sharp, focused, on point character that are peeing. If I want a serious, great diction, mature,
Mm,
heavy, insightful, thoughtful character, Lola at Third Vault Yarns is immediately my go-to person. I love their work. I love them as a person. And they have been at Hoard of Tales before. They've been at Roll for Good, I think, in the past. So I hope to see them a lot more around these parts.
yeah, yeah. Love to see it work. Um, am I allowed to do? I guess super help is three people, I suppose, but they are also a unit. So I'm going to
Yeah.
say three back halflings.
Yes, I was gonna as soon as it's the unit, like
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, yeah, for
yes,
sure,
yes,
for
yes.
sure, for sure.
And we got an
Three back
American in there,
halflings.
so there you go. You're welcome, America. You
Yeah,
finally
well,
get one.
yeah, Jeremy Cobb, yeah, he's American, yeah. Um, yeah, three back halflings are. They came out. God, they started up maybe 2, 3 years ago, about 3 years ago, and for me personally, to see it so openly stated, it's like there's some black people playing D&D when they talk about D&D and with black, and it was like I felt firstly super proud, and secondly,
Mm.
like a little like bummed out that I was like, oh my god, yeah, I've never had anybody just be like straight up. Here we go. Like I've seen like women doing it and such, and it was, because that's easier, more palatable, I suppose, to the general consensus. But the sheer I don't want to say courage because it shouldn't be courage. The sheer chutzpah to just
Shucks.
go out there and say that's what's up, black D&D, come check out. We're going to talk about this kind of stuff. Um, they are a podcast audio, I believe. They're doing a live show coming up. Is that right?
They have done in the past.
They do.
If
I
they have
think they've got
something up
one
new, I'm
as
sorry I
well.
haven't been caught up. There's a lot of podcasts.
Oh, there's so much stuff going on. There's so much stuff going on. But I mean, again, if you want to know more about them, you can find them on Twitter at Three Black Halflings, three as in the number three Black Halflings, and the same on Blue Sky, I should imagine. They are comprised of, and forgive me, I have to quickly just make sure I got all the names right because they weirdly didn't have it on their pin post.
It's Liv Kennedy, it's
Yeah,
Jasper William Cartwright, and
and
it's the
Jeremy
Cobster.
Cobb, yeah, the Cobster. Um, I didn't want to get it wrong. I was like, oh my god, because the first thing they write is that they are known as the Big JC, J Money, Jimothy, Jared Brecob. And I'm looking at this going, oh my god, where's the name spelling?
Uh,
But yeah, big shout outs to them and to their previous member who I believe had to leave due to just like time constraints previously. She was a real force. And again, I kick myself. I don't have the name to hand right now. I will look up afterwards and I will spit it out later, after the conversation. But just great to see some real energy out of people as well. But yes, they've been around the block for a while. They are well known for being very talented and very good, and for bringing a lot of stuff. Jeremy alone has been on. Sorry, Jasper alone has been on Dimension 20 recently.
oh
He
my
did a show
god.
called Burrow's
He hit
End.
it big time.
Yeah, yeah, really good stuff. There was going to be a con under his name, but I think that's been changed up or something. I'm not sure.
In Malta, there's a con happening that he's involved in organization, and I believe I saw something on his Twitter
Mm.
about if you pay X amount of money that I unfortunately cannot afford at this moment, all inclusive, hang out with him, other creatives, panels, workshops, etc.
That said, I did see afterwards a little bit later on that it has been cancelled. Yeah, which is a bummer. I would love to try help out and I guess get something running somewhere if I could be of any help. Because I think that we have like three events here in the UK for tabletop, and I could definitely see more. I could do more.
He Jasper at least helped set up the or was there at the POC corner at the last Dragon Meet, I believe, right?
That's right. I believe it was him and
Taylor.
Taylor, yes, who organised it. It was great. They had to dash because there was a show going on. They were doing a live one, but it was just great being in there and just being like open and talking. There's a really cute photo up. My buddy who came along with me, RJ, from Cosmopunk, went to the toilet at just like the wrong moment and missed the photo.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. But it's really great that they set up the POC room POC meet and greet
Mm, mm.
because I don't go to many conventions, but when I do, it's like it's easy to
It's
find me because
very
like
much
you know everyone who's blinding you, look for the one that isn't, and that's usually me in a sea of like super great allies, friends, intersectional other
right.
things, but not POC.
For sure, for sure.
So I appreciate that there's rooms for queer meetups, there's room for neurodivergent spaces, there's also rooms for POC
Mm,
because that
mm,
is needed, and it's great that they lend their energy to that. I've had the honor of working with Jasper and Liv before, and they are such humble, good people.
mm.
I got the opportunity to be like, "Hi Jasper, how you doing? 1 second." And he was like genuinely like, I don't, wow,
He's
this was before his Dimension 20, I will say, but nonetheless I'm like, what they're doing and what they're representing, to put them on the pedestal a little bit,
Mm.
is really a kind of like a beacon for a lot of other people who they don't see themselves represented in TTRPGs,
I
especially
totally agree.
outside the US.
Totally agree. And not just that, but also the fact that they are. It's easy to like want to hide the term black behind nerds of color or whatever, blah blah blah. But when you just flat out say it, you can't. People looking at it can't help but say, okay, that's exactly what says the tin. There's no vagaries. We're being open. We're being honest, and we're being true to ourselves here. I think that's great.
And if that makes anyone else uncomfortable, well, I don't care about those feelings.
Yeah, it's not for you. It's not for you. It's cool. But you can enjoy whatever you want. But this isn't for you if that's how you feel.
Hi. For any of those people. So yeah, great shout out to all the three Black Halflings. We got 3 in 1 because they are amazing, good people. And if you're ever watching this, come to our channel, hang out with us, play with us, please.
Mm. Speaking of which, Girls on These Worlds just came by.
Yes, they are running. They're also shouting out amazing POCs that have come through their channel.
Oh,
They are an
listen.
international group as
Mm.
well. Uh, on their graphics, as they're shouting out Black creatives in their community, one thing I really liked is that there's a space that say how big is the TTRPG folder on their PC. So Pan, right now, what is the size
Oh,
of your
don't.
TTRPG folder? Tell me.
God, it's like gigs. It's gigs and gigs.
I
'Cause
know,
I'm
I
an
know.
editor and a producer, so I got a lot of crap going on. It's gigs
I
and
will share
gigs.
mine. Mine is right now. I have a drive, not a full ever drive.
Yeah. So.
299 gigs.
Oh, you beat me. I've only got 198. So there you go. Wow, damn. But you work with more video than I do. But damn.
I was about to say a lot of the videos and VODs I work on are in there, but
Mm.
that's not even my archive videos. I have a separate drive just for archive videos.
You know what? You are a consummate organized professional. So I don't doubt that for a second. I know they're all organized in like folders and shit.
Yes, sure. Thank you from your from your lips to whoever's
Yep,
listening
yep,
and controlling
yep.
all that.
Listeners, there's no way I just got a bunch of crap on the desktop. I guarantee it's so tidy.
Desktop, yes,
Wow.
actually, is clean.
See?
Downloads folder, mess. My
Right.
documents, mess. But the desktop has to be clean for me.
You're not one of these people that like save something and just calls it like, okay, like okay 254 and goes enter and says, okay, that's good enough.
Sometimes.
Oh, my ex teacher heart just took a beat. I can't believe it. Still,
Okay.
speaking of my heart, should we pluck out some others?
Okay, yeah. Who else was on my list? We had have an amazing Apollo, Lola, the three Black Halflings. One other person I want to shout out who was recently on Hoard of Tales is Nathan. Neon Caster,
Mm.
Phantom RTNT, uh, is an
Oh, I met
what
them at
was
that meet and greet. So
yes,
stylish.
uh, androgynous android performer caster, I believe was their shout for themselves.
Yeah,
Smooth as silk, smooth as butter voice.
yeah.
This person can read anything to me, and I'll just like wonderfully feel comforted and very restful. I want to hear all the stories being told and narrated by them. They're a VTuber. Um, they play a lot of games using really colorful graphics, really great diction and narration. They open up their platform to other people, showcasing other talent, other GMs, and other players. One of the games I had applied to but didn't get on, but still like really cheered on from the chat was
Mm.
Eat the Reich. Are you familiar with this game, Pan?
I'm not, but that sounds cool.
Eat the Reich is a game by the same
No.
creator of Honey Heist, Grant Howitt.
Is that the Vampire versus Nazis one?
It's the vampires need to drink all the Nazi blood they
Right.
can and get all the way to Hitler.
Right. Yeah, those one page games are great. Honey Heist, Trash Pandas, Beat the Reich, Jason Statham Big Vacation. Great fun.
Eat the Reich is a little more than a single page. It's like a whole compendium with a giant production team. And I think they were
Goodness.
they were on Kickstarter last year, and that's how I kind of found out
Oh,
about
is
it.
this the same? This is the same person who did that game as well.
And then Nathan featured it on one of his streams late last year. And Nathan does a lot of amazing work, and most recently with us playing a game of Become One, which is a Ray Najati game that I was really lucky
The
to play
mech
in.
one.
The mech one. We were all
Yes.
fractured parts of an AI fighting with ourselves amongst ourselves to save our unconscious human pilot. We all had
Hmm.
fragmented memories, and Nathan played the anger and did such a good job. My character was legit like scared of this interpretation that Nathan had,
Hmm.
like in a good way. As a player, I was like, "Damn, do it more."
Yeah, no, that was the time I remember seeing that one there. And also, I just want to mention as well that I got the right designer wrong. It's Rowan Deckard.
Yeah,
So that's them there. But yeah, no, that was a great game. I think that's still up on the VOD, right? People can check that now.
it is totally there. I need to
Head
make
down
some
to the VOD, head
clips of
down to
that.
the YouTube, check it out. That was a great play. Also, they are on Campaign Pod as well, which
That's
is
right. That's right.
I've got it right here. Yeah, there we go. Which is a high seas game. They play Ormar Vale.
They also have games on Twitch as well. So definitely check out the Neon Caster, which is, I believe, Phantom Arts ENT on their Twitter, and the Neon Caster on Blue Sky. We're going to shout all these out on a tweets
Yeah,
afterwards. I will
yeah,
never call
yeah,
it X after the stream.
yeah.
Oh, man. Do you have any more for our list, Pan? Up
Sure,
to
sure.
you.
I'm just, I'm just. I
This could be
see.
the whole stream as far as I care.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I was going to mention because obviously I know of Draconics, but I haven't met them.
Draconics.
So, do you know them? Have you met them?
I got to meet them last week. I got to do a thing which is going to be aired soon. It's not out yet. Well, actually, it just got announced on Roll for Good. I did a panel about safety tools
Yes.
with them. But Draco Draconics, wonderful person. I have seen some of their games. They got to play with Roll20. They got to be they got to do a live recorded game, I think, a while ago too.
Nice.
So Drax is one of these talents, UK based, who is starting to get real recognition. And when I say real recognition, it kind of irks me to say, but like in the US, is making it to studios which are
I mean,
largely
it is what it is.
located in
We
the
don't need to be
Pacific.
like. We
That's
don't
what
need
it is.
to. Yeah, it is what it is. That's the way. Like as we mentioned, the default feels like America. We are going against that, but and then it's still the default. So
But we're happy to have someone like Drac absolutely rep us.
yeah. Like
Oh,
Drac
he's so good.
getting out there, Jeremy getting out there. Like although we are in a smaller boat, if you will, it's still great seeing people like like hit it up there. And the internet's a worldwide place. All it means is you're doing bigger things around and about, and eventually bring it back home.
Bring it back home, I think, is
Bring it
the
back
key
home. I know
message.
I did the fist. I'm like,
Bring it back. I don't care. Bring it
return
back
it to
home.
us.
As POC, that's the statement we really get to own. Return it to us. I mean, that's kind of the
You're
gist of
right.
it
You're
all.
right.
So, and as long as a Hoard of Tales Hot is like one of the itty bitty places where hopefully we're trying to build like a little platform, a little stage where, because the stage I feel is not as built.
Mm,
I'm hoping that there's going to be more stages, big stages. Three back halflings is among those making that stage for sure.
yeah, for sure, for sure. I think I think things will definitely start changing once maybe another con gets around. I'm sure they'll have something else in the mind. But once we get like a new con that's maybe more geared towards like less towards the buyer seller part of tabletop and more towards like the community part of it, I think we'll definitely see like a bigger jump.
I hope so.
Yeah,
And I
I mean,
hope that new con and old cons will continue to have like the POC tables and
for sure.
corners
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
because it's so heartening just to see like another fellow soul out there.
Yeah,
Like I don't have to communicate with you; we just see our eyes lock, and we're like, "Oh, okay,
I have a story about that when I went to
yeah."
Japan for the first time, and I was walking down this hallway towards out to the airport and such, and there was this black family walking towards me, and it was that weird look of like, okay, like they're leaving. I'm like, oh, in my eyes, how it go? And in their eyes, they're like, good luck. Like, all right. Like it was just this unspoken moment as we passed in a hallway under an airport. But that is a moment that I have shared many a time, at many a thing. And I don't mean this in any way of like, I didn't feel bad. It is for better or worse.
It's different.
Um, yeah, it's just different. It's just a different thing. Um, in another life, I helped set up First of Color, which is a furry thing, which is also a very white centric community. And it's nothing where you would go to an event and you would maybe see somebody like in the distance. You'd be like, oh, but you
Hello.
yeah, like you walk on the oh my goodness, oh that's and eventually it's always a bit awkward because if you go over and say hi, I see you're not white. It's a very strange conversation to start off with.
But I think one that viewers or in the future, if you have some more cool way of approaching this, because I think ultimately that's what I want, but I see the awkwardness that how that starts.
For
The
sure.
last con I went to, I kind of just sat in the table because it's like, one, I didn't want to give up my really cool table spot. It was a good table. It was next to a door. People wearing masks, so ventilation was like great, perfect
Nice.
table. But it was like, oh, a POC. Oh.
Yeah.
And then I missed the connection. I'm like, shame on me.
It's a weird one, but that's part of why doing stuff like this is great because the more we normalize just talking about it and just being like, hey, I want to see these guys. They seem cool. I want to connect. The less it feels awkward, not just for the situation, but for the people involved as well. Let's face it. For many people, you'll see a person of color, and you'll be like, "I'd love to talk to them, but is it going to look a certain way?" And that's not necessarily the best way to think about it, but it is something that is wired into some of our minds. I would love to see a day when that's just not the case. That's just, if you see somebody that you think you're going to vibe with, you can just go over there and vibe with them. And that's why I like doing this stuff with you, particularly because it's important that, like I said, that this is normalized, that people can be like, oh yeah, cool. You wanted to meet some more, people come from this community? Sure, I know a couple of guys over there. Or it's not weird to see, I don't say communities, but
No, it's not weird because we don't think of it as weird when we see women and femme only spaces. We don't think of it as necessarily weird when we see queer spaces. These places exist, their intersectionality exists, and there are really big signs in front of certain communities saying like this is a queer safe space, and I love it.
mm, mm,
But why do we? I'm not talking to Ida and Pan, both of us. Why are we ascribing weirdness when it gets to racial and ethnic?
yeah, exactly.
Is
I,
Ida
I,
making a sad face for those listening later? Like, "Hmm,
yeah, for those listening, either this look very sad, but I do
hmm."
believe that it comes down to, um, especially like in like nerd spaces as we exist within, that we're already like a little bit awkward.
A little bit.
Not me though. I'm super cool. But
Oh,
like, some
the
other people are like,
coolest.
ah,
I
I know.
mean that non-ironically, fine, seriously.
No, I agree. I am the coolest. You're cool too.
Thanks.
But can you in the audience, you're cool. Not you though. You're no. Everyone else is okay. But absolutely, it's just one of the things where it can feel it can feel awkward just to talk to people just in general, regardless of ethnicity. And then you can feel awkward because you are in a majority white space, wanting to interact and connect with somebody of color, and you can feel like how's this going to be perceived by those around me, and that shouldn't be a
Hmm.
thing. That shouldn't be a thing. If, as you said, if I walked into a room full of men and I saw two girls go oh and went to talk to each other, I wouldn't think twice about it. I'd be like, oh yeah, of course. So that should be how we are for all this entire bubble of things, queer, disabilities, gender, whatever. You see someone you think you can vibe, you should be able to go there and be like, "What's up?" without feeling that people who don't even matter around you are going to feel away. But that is unfortunately that we have to all learn to shed from our social trees, as it were.
Hmm. Hmm. I think wanting to find that safe space with that vibe is where ultimately also making assumptions that this person understands the my lived experience, or this person is going
Yeah,
to share concerns of mine that I don't have to re-explain, I don't have to revalidate. Like again, this is an assumption. This is not a something that is for sure going to happen. But I have the assumption that going into a queer space, I don't have to explain to someone the importance of pronouns and self-assigning them and
right,
respecting them,
right,
right? I don't have to explain, ideally, assuming in a woman or femme space, the values of equality and feminism. So we look, Aida speaking, look to these communities, these bubbles, as you put them, because I feel I don't have to put in extra emotional label to explain or feel an outsider from the
mm,
my hands are raised making quote symbols, those stereotypical and tropey feelings, because they come from the past or an inkling of truth where some individuals are vehemently against those. And those are people I don't want to be vulnerable with in role play. Those are people
right.
I don't want to share a lifelong or very long campaign or even a one shot. I'm pretty sure if I went in there, immediately some flags and safety lines would be raised. If they even did
I've seen
safety
that.
lines.
I've had that. I've been to conventions and there's been a tabletop room. I'm going, oh hey, it's 8 o'clock. I have some time to kill. I'd love to play a quick game, and just had to walk out. I've just been in games where I think I joined one game where I was like, hey guys, I see you already playing. I can roll up just like a generic fighter. I'll just jump in and help out. And they're like, yeah, fine, no problem. And I get in there, and immediately they're alluding to so much sexual assault. I went,
Oh,
oh,
no, no, no.
ah,
Bad. Done.
actually, I have to go.
Bad.
it
Bad.
was so bizarre. I was just like almost instantly, and they're like, so anyway, a couple of minutes ago, we just finished doing X, Y, Z. I'm like, oh God, what? Why? What did something happen? No, it was just funny. No, what? And then I
Gross.
dipped. I just looked at my phone, and went, oh, I got a 9 p.m. thing I got to do.
Ouch.
Yeah,
Gross.
it was weird, but I mean that's the thing. And I want to stress that is absolutely not the common thing. It was unusual enough that I remembered it for one thing. It threw me. I have jumped into many random games for fun. That's happened, not that exact thing, but like stuff like that's happened 1 in 10 times. It does happen because in the day we are dealing with often people who are not entirely socially aware.
Very diplomatic of you.
And yeah, and these people simply don't realize that not everyone thinks the same way. And that is another thing where, just because I like tabletop does not mean I'm going to enjoy um your, I don't know, colonialist bullshit storyline of
That's also pretty
pillaging and
diplomatic.
such. I'm trying. I'm really working on it. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to enjoy that pillaging vibe you guys are going with and all that kind of stuff. It's not something that I find fun. So I will just dip. No, shut phone.
Dip,
Um,
absolutely dip. And that's also not to say that the aforementioned communities are devoid of that either. It takes
No,
a
no, no,
lot
no,
of
of
it
course.
takes so much time to foster that community, to like instill and figure out and communicate the values. Why X if not Y? Where is that line? Where is that limit?
Hmm,
Someone is getting defensive about why this or that shouldn't be. And it's like, so it takes work. Not every community is perfect.
hmm.
But at least in my own experience, and I hope to yours, that when communities are binded together under a clearly communicated set of values and also accepting norms of openness and seeing especially marginalized people,
Mhm.
they tend to be better, safer, moderate places. Tend to.
Yeah, because there's already people are already aware of like the baselines that you have to navigate as a person of color. So, or queer or woman or whatever, any kind of minority, to be honest. So you're usually like vaguely aware of the baselines. Um, but yeah, it's definitely a weird one. Like I have a guilty pleasure of watching. Do you ever watch those RPG horror stories on YouTube?
Not on YouTube, but I every now and then, I'm not even subscribed to it, but I do check out the RPG horror stories on Reddit. So I think same vibe.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I don't want to read that much, so I just watch YouTube.
This is
Someone
so
tells
critical.
me a story,
Okay.
but no, no. I have a as a guilty pleasure. I'll grab a drink and I'll just like watch an RPG horror story. And some of the stories that come out of those are just so buck wild. Like it'll be like, yeah, we were playing D&D, my GM just shot the fighter, and I'll be like, huh? But these are some of these stories, and again, I'm sure that some of them are embellished somewhat, but
On
sometimes
the
you do just
internet? No.
yeah, of course, no one lies on the internet. But sometimes the stories you tell, even the ones that seem like fairly benign at first, are like, how did this not like get noticed? And I appreciate that not everyone understands the necessity of a session zero. But I also appreciate some people will happily say, "Yeah, sure, whatever, I don't care for session zero." And then, and I have been guilty of this myself. Be like, ah, no, it's fine. You guys are cool, whatever. I don't need session zero. And then something happens. You go, oh my god, wow, that blindsided me hard. I think there's a whole bunch. I think my favorite one is the one where one of the players had one sorry, the DM had a crush on one of the players.
Oh no.
Yeah,
That's not
and
gonna end
then
well.
one night they'd all gotten drunk, and the player had like admitted to the DM that they had a thing for strong women, don't be mummies, and just casually to the group and whatever. And the DM from that point made every NPC that was in the slightest bit romanceable just this absolute hot beefcake of a lady to the point where it became parody because it was like a weird harem anime show. Only the person, the player, was not buying it. They were feeling more and more uncomfortable as it went along. And just like, how do you get that tone deaf at that point? I feel like if it doesn't work once, okay, they're not going to buy
Mm.
it.
Um,
You have opinions.
opinions. My goodness. So while we're on the topic of safe spaces and marginalized communities, specifically racial ethnic ones,
Hmm,
um, maybe I have something to pick with you, Pan. It's something I pick with myself often.
sure,
What what constitutes, especially outside the US, what constitutes or what is a good foundation to having a TTRPG safe space for POC, for BIMPOC, for BAME people?
sure.
Because I can speak, for example, to Hoard of Tales specifically. I am coordinating all the cats for the Women in Gaming Month happening next month. We had nearly 80 applicants,
Wow, nice.
and yeah, uh, about 30% of them were POC. And we're
Hmm,
like, this is one of the biggest percentage breaks down ever that we've
absolutely.
had because we plastered everywhere, like uh, video, audio, text. We are prioritizing POC and BAME applicants. We are
Yes.
prioritizing, we are prioritizing, we are prioritizing you. I say 30% is a great amount, but down deep in my heart, I know if this event was copy pasted in the US, for example, that'd be a very different demographic.
Oh, absolutely.
And I also know that me myself, I have certain rules when I stream, or I'm invited to any stream even. I say for myself, I do not want to be the only POC at a table. If
Mhm.
you want me there, you need to have another POC. If that doesn't happen, uh, sorry, bye, see you next time. No hard
Mm.
feelings, but you need to do some due diligence there. And we have people who signed up, and I'm really happy that they did. And then we have people who said, yes, I'll do it. Then they don't respond, or they say,
Yeah.
I'll be there. And then they don't follow up. And then those numbers go down, and Ida's like, woo woo.
Yeah.
So together, you and I, what is a good way to get that welcome mat clear? What is that magical formula?
That's interesting. I feel like I feel like maybe the first thing to do would be, now when putting stuff out there as well, maybe have, I mean, now that we've done a few tables that have been um majority, if not entirely, uh, BIPOC, BIMPOC, maybe more showings. I think it would be great to be, if people could see these tables. I remember oh, who was it now? Hyper RPG did a Black Panther game
Mm-hmm.
ages and ages ago. But to this day, I kept seeing the table. And I was like, everyone's black. And I kept seeing. I was like, and to this day, when I talk to people about like tabletop and stuff, I always show them that one thing just 'cause I saw it. And I think that, like, you've been working on those YouTube shorts and TikTok things and stuff. Great stuff, because you see that and you're like, I know exactly what I'm getting. I know the vibe. I know that I see the faces.
There are
And I
good
think
looking
that,
people on those things.
right. But that's the thing. I think that it's a large part of it comes down to what you see, because a lot of times a call will go out, and what will happen is that nobody actually replies. They just DM or they quote tweet or whatever, but you don't see any replies. So you'll see this thing, zero replies. You think, I don't want to. Not me, because I like putting myself out there because I'm narcissistic, but a lot of people will think like, I don't want to go in there and, like, it doesn't really work out or anything like that. I don't even put myself out there. And again, it's all down to normalizing being put out there. Obviously, around Black History Month, you get a bunch of all black games, um, and so on in the States. But even then, just seeing it is enough to get people go, oh, okay, cool. This I can vibe with this. This is okay, because there's still, I think, a stigma of nerd stuff equals white stuff sometimes for people.
I agree with all of your points. You have to show it. But I
Hmm.
will, and this is something we also discussed with, I discussed with Jasper a long time ago as well, that there is additional emotional labor when you, speaking like to an individual, a single
Hmm.
person, when they are one of the only ones that get constantly reused,
Oh yeah,
where
yeah, yeah, yeah.
where
You
it
feel
almost feels
tokenized very much so. Then,
tokenizing,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
right?
for sure, for
So
sure.
someone always has to be that first, the first two, the first three, the first 10.
Hmm.
And I absolutely recognize that that can feel tokenizing. So it's like, where is the resources to start without making the others early arrivers tokenizing? So that's
Yeah.
one challenge, and it's hard. That's eventually where my rule came of, I can't be the only one anymore,
Oh,
because
that makes sense. That's good.
for a while I was like, these are my good friends. I know they mean well. I know they're not tokenizing me,
Hmm.
but it still feels tokenizing.
Right. Yeah, I
And
get you.
then the second challenge is the the standard that is being placed, the where, again, Jasper's words, and I agree with them 100%,
Hmm.
where if there is a POC focused, POC centric, non-European story theme project,
Hmm.
it has to deliver at 200% perfection. There
Oh
is
yeah.
no margin of error. Whereas anyone, again, loosely saying, anyone else who is not in that category can put out a project at 80%, 60%,
Yeah.
and it will still be better received than the thing that was at 200% effort.
Yeah. No, 100%. I mean, that's something in life. There's a great quote that I'm going to definitely misremember now, which is, you have to work twice as hard to get half as much recognition.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's, again, it all comes down to normalization. Once people are out there doing it and constantly just making it just a thing you see, this will go. This will slowly but surely go. But we have to stop being afraid to do it. I guess people have got to be willing to be out there and do it. Um, and when you are out there, like, yeah, you're right. Make efforts. And again, if you're an ally, make efforts to make sure that people aren't tokenized. Like, Ida's great, but if your idol was the guest person of color on every show, you'd start to notice it would be weird, right?
It
Like,
was really weird for a while.
yeah, like featuring not white person, it would be weird. It would be strange. So just by the simple rule of having two people, ideally, mix it up, get some queerness in there, split the gender binary, whatever you want to do, but just find someone else. It's not that hard. People are gagging to play.
That's the last part, and that last point I think is the no, it's simultaneous. I'm going to say for one reason, for two reasons. Um, there are people, there are POC everywhere, anywhere you look. I don't care if you're in Scandinavia. I can name you POC people in Scandinavia right now. Even I have to remind myself the names, but they exist. They stream. They play TTRPGs. They're variety streamers. They
Right.
exist. They speak their nationalities' local languages too. So don't say that they exist or they're hard to find because that erases and minimizes us.
Mm.
And fuck you if you do that. So I'm holding up middle fingers
Also,
for the
frankly, it's
podcasters
the
will be.
internet. You can find someone. You've got the entirety of Europe and the UK to find someone from. What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
If you're playing your home game, that's one thing. We can talk about that later on. But if you're online, I'm setting up a new Pathfinder 2E podcast. It's like, great, you're on the internet. There's a million people, a bajillion people. Go find somebody.
They exist. And if you can't find them, ask. You know what? Ask me. Pan and I actually curate these
Yeah,
goddamn lists.
yeah,
We actually have the list. We've done the labor for you. You're welcome. They
yeah,
should pay us for this. They should go to pay us
yeah.
for
I
this.
mean, we'll put this on the we'll link it as well to the end of this here. But for sure, just ask. And again, I know it can be a little awkward to go to your any of your pop friends, be like, hey, could you find me like a list of other pop people that I could go through or whatever? Yeah, right. It's. I know it's awkward, but trust me when I say your friend, this player, this poor token, will appreciate it as long as you're cool
but
about it.
but but
Be cool.
but but actually do the research and get to understand why beyond the amount of melanin in your skin that they are good TTRPG players, because there
Hmm,
are a million reasons why they are.
yeah, for
And
sure.
there are plenty of other very mediocre non-POC players. And let's one, give more weight to the POC because the opposite has been done historically for way too long.
Yeah,
And two, even if it's not unbalanced objectively, they're still way better. A lot of them. There's
yep.
a reason why they're standouts because they had to perform at that 200 to 300%.
That's exactly
That's
it.
their
You've got to
that's their
work
default
harder.
now.
Yeah, I think like look at somebody like I don't want to go off topic too much or anything like that, but there's an actor called Dev Patel. They were in Slumdog
Yes.
Millionaire, and yes, you know them.
There was just a trailer for a movie they're directing in the
Monkey
Super Bowl.
Man, which
Oh
looks
my
phenomenal.
oh my god, Zuko grew up in a movie
Yeah,
that
he
never
he played
existed,
he played
right?
Zuko. He was in
That movie
Skins.
didn't exist. There's a
Oh
movie in
well,
Passing
just
Say.
him cosplaying. He looked great.
Yeah. The
But
scar was on the wrong side though.
was it? Oh, I didn't know this.
That's the meme.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like this is a guy putting out some really amazing looking work who probably wouldn't have gotten a chance to do so if he hadn't come across Jordan Peele, who again came out doing some very impressive work in the movie field with stuff like Get Out and such, and I don't say earned that place, but forged that place, dug that place out for himself, and
200% effort to do that.
exactly 200% effort, exactly. And now he's able to push forward other POC like Dev Patel put out this movie that looks absolutely banging. Frankly, like you should go check it out if you haven't. But that's what I'm saying. Like you are missing out on so much talent by not diversifying.
You are missing out on amazing stories, different cultural takes from a
Yeah,
nuanced and
I can't
appreciative,
wait to see all the
expressive.
the copies of Hanuman books in the bloody library after people go, oh, what's it based on? Oh, Hanuman, I heard of it. I can't wait to go buy all those damn books.
I mean, how creative can you be in another feudal European Viking setting seriously. It's been
Yeah,
done to death.
yeah.
So does that mean, Pan, we're going to have? Do you know someone, or are you volunteering to perhaps do like a Tales of Wagadu campaign in October, Hoard of
You know,
Tales?
it's very funny because I was literally just about to mention that if you for some reason are just like, hey, look, I do not have any way of finding like more than one POC to do this, whatever. Don't take that and be like, well, I'll go back to my Viking storylines. Do go, do go try and learn from stuff like Tales of Wagadu or what's the Pathfinder one? The Mugabe expanse, is that it?
I'm not familiar with. I'll take your word for Pathfinder things,
Yeah,
but
they did Pathfinder a while ago. Do immerse yourself in these worlds anyway. Learn.
even D&D has it. Radiant Citadel,
Radiant Citadel. Go play some Radiant Citadel. It's got stories from so many brought up from so many different cultures and
played
times.
off stream. If you're going to be a non-POC table, please.
Yeah, go play
We
that stream.
need to
Don't
stream that.
don't
We need
stream it. Don't
it.
worry about it. I don't think anyone's gonna hold it
Don't need
against
it.
you. Just play it. Just play it just to enjoy it. You
Or,
know?
or pay someone and start playing to run it.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Just don't
Um
stream it if you're not on a POC table, please. We don't need it. We don't. It's no, we don't need it.
I think I now see I will tastefully disagree and say that if it's being done through a lens of respect and a willingness to learn, I would like to watch that. I think again, I think a group of a group of five white guys with glasses in their late 30s. Hold on, let me finish.
I'm letting you finish.
Taking the time to read it, understand, educate themselves to an audience of other glasses, white guys in their late 30s, and then saying, this is what the book is telling us. We'd like to recommend that you check out X, Y, Z, and blah, blah, blah. Push other people if you are able. And if you're able to do it, obviously, and again, I know it's a big ask. I know nobody wants to have to keep like, double checking themselves all the time. But the more you take the time to be like, to be thoughtful about what you're doing, the easier it gets. Like, think about when you were a kid. You didn't have any filter. You learn, right? Like, kids say weird shit. But you learn. You learn what's socially acceptable, what makes sense, what doesn't hurt people, what's good for people. You haven't stopped learning just because you hit 30. We're in 20
Mm.
or 15.
I hear you.
Mm.
My take on that would be, if a group of five
I,
white
I
cis
admit that
het
I was
men
picking like the most
want
generically generic
to
mind.
push it, they should push it in tweets, in a just chatting thing about it.
Mm.
I don't think they should necessarily my Ida's take
Mm.
that they should be streaming role playing themselves in that space,
Mm.
in
Okay.
that setting, as those characters who likely themselves are uh, marginalized people of color within that setting as well. If you want to talk about it, hype it, use your platform to support it and shout out.
Mm.
Yes. Ida's take, and I probably wouldn't even lurk on the Twitch if I saw that. Like, I wouldn't. I would be like feeling ways if they were role playing themselves in there.
Yeah, I think it would. Like I said, this would have to be a phenomenal group. I would have to be
Mm.
like, I would happily look if I'm like, okay, this is the most like you got Brennan Lee Mulligan, you got like some super conscientious, super like
Oh,
mm,
sorry to interrupt, but like there
mm.
was a role. I think it was D&D Beyond.
I would say Brennan probably wouldn't do it. He probably would just be like,
There,
no.
there was a streamed show, one shot even,
Mm.
of an official's line from Radiant Citadel with an all POC cast
Oh,
and Matthew Mercer. The internet was not very happy
as
with
a
Matt
player
Mercer
or as a
being had
GM?
as a player,
Hmm. See,
because then it's like, and then at the same,
hmm.
having worked in marketing and having worked in like community management and all that other stuff, I can understand where there is value in using. Again, I'm extrapolating. I don't know why they did or didn't do this, but I can see some value in using Matt Mercer's stardom and reach to elevate the kind of project.
Yeah.
And the other players who themselves are also big ass names,
Mm.
and the writers who are also big names in the community as well, elevates that too. But the fact that one has to, and the fact that what does he have to add that someone who isn't an equal
Oh,
star POC
absolutely.
couldn't? Why did he have to be there? I feel that, and Matthew Mercer, this man is a saint. He uplifts and he uses platform as much as he can to do
Mm.
good in the world. And he is a good being, and I love and cherish that man. If there were candles of him, I would burn them.
Wait,
But
that
I
doesn't
don't
sound
think.
quite right. I'd love to burn Matthew Mercer if I could.
But I have seen those memes, or like those memes where they actually replace Jesus's face with Matt Mercer on the little grandma votive
Oh God,
candles. That's a thing. But
please.
I would burn those is what I meant to
Right,
keep content.
gotcha.
But I kind of agree with the take of like Matt Mercer did not need a seat at that table.
Mm.
But I
I see.
understand why it could have been done.
Yeah, I do. I do see from that. I think the way I see it is, I feel like. Sorry, we've got Totoro there realizing that we are both in one way or another called Pan.
Different chat we'll have later about.
Yeah. But yeah, I understand the thing, but for me,
Mm-hmm,
I like seeing allyship attempted.
mm-hmm.
And it really does come down to like, did Matt Mercer? I mean, I haven't seen that one obviously, but did Matt Mercer come in there and like, like really Matt Mercer the place, or was he
No,
like? Well, that's what I'm saying exactly. So was he a good ally? Was he there to learn? Was he there to be like, oh, this is something else? Because as much as obviously, spaces for for POC should be there and important. That's super important. But and again, as you said, it's a marketing thing where if you're trying to sell this very POC uh, ethnic laden book to as many people as you can because you're wizards and that's the way it works,
mm-hmm.
then you've got to the first thing you got to do, in my mind, is remove the stigma for those that the book is not quote unquote for. Um,
Valid.
yeah, that's it. It's got to be like they still want Chad and Stacy to buy the book at the end of the day, and I would rather Chad and Stacy buy the book. I shouldn't have said Chad and Stacy.
It's
I
Chad and
want
Stacey now.
I want these two people to be able to see that video, go, oh, Matt Mercer's being this way, he's being respectful. Okay, that's the way it should be. Because if you can trust this guy to come in and be a good ally and listen, then I don't have a problem personally with him being there. Maybe not Matt. Maybe I wouldn't have Matt Mercer because he's such a name
That,
at that time.
that's why I bring it up,
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah. He's such a name that it's kind of distracting. So I wouldn't have just some other guy, just some other random, not random, but some
a,
other talented
a
and
token
conscientious
white
white guy.
dude.
Yeah, I yes, but a token conscientious and
Token white ally.
an allied white, yes, for sure. But at that point, again, it comes down to the more you normalize it, the more we move forward. And that doesn't mean we should always have a token white guy at the table, or whatever like that. Because at the end of the day, there's a million tables of white guys. Um, but I feel like as long as you can find the ones who are, and of course I use white guys as a general term.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, white anybody. Um, as long as you can have them come in and show by doing, being like, okay, I'm gonna. This is how you are a good ally in this space. Then I don't really have a problem with it. I think it's good. But again, Matt Mercer, such a huge name. Even if the guy sat under the table, you'd still be like, Matt Mercer's in here, right? So yeah.
That's, I think, a really good case in point. And you bring up a good point about demonstrating what allyship looks like. And agreed, valid point. Do I wish that wasn't necessary? Yes.
Oh,
Do I
for
recognize the
sure.
reality of the world?
Mm,
And in a way, I'm kind of glad if it had to be. If it was a choice, like this game is not going to happen at all.
mm.
Okay, I guess bring in Matt Mercer. Oh, we're gonna suffer with having this
Yeah,
very nice person, this very kind soul on the internet.
that's it. We could have been unlucky. He could be popular and an asshole, and that would just suck.
I am really grateful that when, even though that uh if we ask a TTRPG fan on the street, who are your TTRPG idols?
Mm,
By and large, they're going to answer white men like Brendan Lee Mulligan and Matt Mercer, etc.
mm.
We are fortunate that people like them, those big shots, are good allies.
Yes,
Like
that's
they
exactly what I
truly,
was going to say.
we are very fortunate that
Yeah.
those big names are good allies. Ah,
Um, Todd Hawken makes actually a good point in that you got stuff like with Dimension 20. I know that she was on um, Critical as well, but you got a much more diverse table.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And it gets to the point where it never feels like, even when it's only, oh my God, it's out of my head. He's such a funny guy. He's got dreads. I just had his name on the tip of my
Ooh,
tongue. Lou. Lou Wilson. Even when Lou's the only person coming at the table, you know that you're not sitting there watching and going like, "Ah, man, they didn't even try." They're probably like, "Well, they've got like four more people doing other shows, more than likely, because they've built that kind of um, reputation, trust, and rapport of allyship that I can watch it and think, oh, this is. I'm sure I'm going to catch um, several other people doing another show next time. It's never a problem, and I think that's the way to move forward. And yeah, we're very lucky that Brendan Mulligan's a good dude, because that could go either way. Like we could be ending up with a. I don't think I can think of anybody who's been big and turned out to be a huge racist. Um,
oh, I can, and I will give you those details off stream because I think it's
sure,
time for us to go on a break soon.
sure.
We can definitely do that. And before we go, I want to get the final word in. Exandria Calamity, Critical Role, Brendan Lee Mulligan, Diverse Table,
Hmm,
the end game that wins everything. If you haven't watched it, oh my God, 4 episodes, bring tissues. You are going to be bawling your eyes out.
there you go.
All right. Let's take a quick break to refill water bottles and get these annoying ads out of our way so you
Yes,
don't miss anything. We'll be back in how's 5 minutes for you, Pan?
well, it's fine.
All
Just
right.
enough time to pet my cat.
Oh, pet the cat, cat,
Yes, there is.
cat. All right, friends, we're going to see you in 5 minutes. Go hydrate yourselves and thanks for hanging out. Hopefully, you're going to be back with us. Toodles. We're back? Yeah, we're back. We are totally back. We weren't about to continue on having a completely different discussion while on the break screen. Nope, not us. We
Absolutely not. Nope.
totally had
Nah.
our eye on the ball all the time.
And Spider's popping back in now. So wait, I haven't actually seen the seven. Have you seen that one?
If the seven refers to, does the seven refer? No, then I'm drawing a blank here.
Like I hate to say it, but I find Critical Role kind of dry. I love the show,
Mm,
the animation, great fun, and I thought, wow, is that what they're like? I'll go and watch. And I went back and watched. I was like, that's obviously not quite what they're like. I'm sure that it hits some people. I don't personally. It doesn't. It just don't gel with me. D20 does. Nadpod does. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like maybe I don't feel the same vibe I feel watching everybody else because they don't feel like players. It feels like a show, like a TV show.
mm,
I
mhm.
mean, that's why I don't gel with it. I know there's a lot of like rumors that it's scripted and yada yada, and I'm sure it's not. You can be a good storyteller and not have to script things, but I don't feel like I'm getting a raw experience like I would from one of our shows or a Manaport show or even one of the bigger boys like God, like I mentioned before, RPG, Hyper RPG, those kind of guys, all the way up to Dimension 20. I just feel there's a point where it became a TV show and not a actual play.
I think that's a big trap because they are professional entertainers.
Of course, and no hate on them at all. I totally get it. Amazing voice work. I've got two and a half voices, so I totally am like super impressed by everything they do. But I'm impressed by them in the way that I'm impressed by like Star Trek. I'm like, yeah, this is a great show, but I don't see any of myself or what I could bring to this, which is very far what I find in normal actual plays. I can imagine being at this table. I can imagine,
Mm,
being in this adventure.
I
I don't
see.
get that with Critical Role.
I see. I liked critical. I still like critical role. We'll temper that statement. Um, Critical Role was definitely my primary gateway to TTRPGs. I wanted to play TD&D for the first time because I was familiar with it when I first started watching Stranger Things. And then I literally cornered Marcus, our GM and other organizer at Hoard of Tales, who I've worked with in the past in person at a job. And I'm like, hey, I remember you said you liked the D&D thing. Could you run a game for us? And I have finished 2 campaigns with him that were each 60 sessions long.
Wow,
Levels 1 through, I think, 16 was the highest level we got.
that's awesome.
So, and then once we started playing those games, it's like, I want to know more about this D&D thing. I am the kind of person who learns by doing. So I ordered the player's handbook and I watched Critical Role, and I would flip to the back and be like, this monster, okay, reverse engineering has this much AP. Okay, okay.
Okay,
And
that's actually pretty cool. That's a cool way to do it.
that's how I focus my hyper
No, I get it. I get
my,
it. It's like
my
having a
intentions.
it's literally having a follow along book. Like you can, and again, that's part of what I like as well. Like I can listen to a show and be like, yeah, I am following along. I could have done that.
And they were
I could
very
see
good
that.
about being, and they had the production was good that I could understand clearly.
Yes, and good
It
objections.
was in a medium that I could go back and forth and rewatch things, because back then there weren't as many APs that I was aware of,
Mm,
and by that point, Critical Role was the default, and those kind of tables were the default. All white, a whole white cast was the default, and I
yeah.
didn't think anything of it because
Although I
I
will
was
say
the only
kudos to them for
woman at
having
my
women on
tables.
the tables at
Same with
least.
POC too.
Yeah, that's something. Kudos to them for at least having like women on the table as well. And I think it's something that they're again. I'm not a huge watcher, so I can't say how they're getting on now, but
Mhm.
has been getting better generally throughout the sphere. Also, I'd like to say thank you to Ben for pointing out that I have at least 3 voices because he's listening to my arc on Cosmopunk. So thank you. That's true, actually. The only difference I do is whether I have to cough or not. That's where it's a different voice. Like you remember Grey Lance?
Yes.
Grey Lance is my um, guy in charge of a thing voice that I use pretty much everywhere. You come to a thing. Who's there? It's a big gruff guy. What's he like? It's the same dude you met before. It's always the same guy.
But they're all
Avoid
furry.
No, no, no. Those should be like big guys. I played a policeman, a Victorian policeman called Marcus in a Call of Cthulhu game, and
Okay.
same voice. He was a big, gruff, sweet, dumb, strong guy who had the exact same voice as Grey Lance. So 3.2 voices, I think.
I can't wait to hear your new voices in that other project we're going to be doing
Please
soon,
don't.
TM.
They sound silly, but I am
Mm.
looking forward to it. So that's all good.
But
But
Critical
what else
Role
are we working on?
definitely had that.
Yes.
I enjoyed I as the amateur, I could tell and enjoy and appreciate the acting that was also founded by the fact that they are personal friends, and for me that
Yeah.
was part of the appeal to it.
It's very
And
much, yeah,
then
very much you can
I
tell
was
that they
at
are
other
friends.
tables, and where I saw the diversity of personhood and story, and I'm like, oh, Critical Role does some things great. They have good chemistry and they have great production value. But there was that missing thing that I eventually found doing APs for myself was like different backgrounds, different stories, which come
Mm.
from racial and ethnic diversity for me.
Yeah, I think that again, for example, there was shame on me to go back to TV and movies, but show came out recently called The Brothers Wu
Hmm.
about a triad family and the translations there. And I was talking to friends about it. I was like, wow, this show is absolutely great. So good. You get the real vibe of family and brotherhood and blah, blah, blah. And one of my friends, a white girl, she didn't get it. And I was like,
Mm.
I realized that, like, despite me not being Chinese, obviously, there's enough cultural overlap that I understand what it means to be the eldest in a family like that. Um, and I understand the pressure that culturally you're under and societally you're under and so on. Not certainly as much as somebody who is actually in that situation, but I have enough of a similar background
Hmm.
as a man to get it. And it was just interesting to explain that to them and be like, this is how it is in these cultures. I understand that it's not how you might see it, and that might make it seem unreal to you or whatever. But the diversity is what allows you to be a more rounded person, and also to be able to develop more rounded character if you're playing a game. Like if you have more points of reference, whether lived or learned, you can be a better character. Like I'm
With a
sure that plenty of
better
people who come to it,
story.
yeah, you can tell better stories.
Oh
The
my
entire
god.
argument about about I don't want to get too into because I do not like that discussion, but the whole orcs thing
Mm-hmm.
would have been negated if it just been a case of like, oh, we just like hung out with some more people of color and we were like, okay, we get like if it was like a case of like if people could point to something and say that's not what it's like, that's what it's like. This whole kerfuffle. I don't like kerfuffle. That was it. Wasn't even a kerfuffle. It was a. I don't want to say good.
Maybe,
I was just.
maybe
I
that's
want
very
to.
British of you to say. Like back in
Yeah.
the day, it was called the Troubles.
Yeah.
The
this
kerfuffle, the troubles.
this whole troubles,
It's
but
a
this whole
trouble.
thing could have been like easily handled if there was just more experience to go around and more lived experience, more learned experience, more told experience to go around, and that's where
There
I think a lot of
was just people didn't want to listen, or
yes,
people invalidated it. It's
yes,
like it's
you
like
are
the
right. You are right. What I
it's.
mean is that if they had taken the time to engage.
Oh my god! When you said you had to explain Brothers, which I saw the series as well, I loved it.
Hmm,
I saw the allegories. I got it, especially as being raised in an immigrant family.
hmm.
I had to explain. I had a former colleague of mine, white cis guys, like, I didn't get Wonder Woman. Why the heck is everyone such a big deal about it? I'm like, and then later he said the same thing about the first Black Panther movie, and I disowned him. I was like, you don't. Of course you don't get it. Never mind. You know what? You're never gonna get it. And
Which is really sad because like Black Panther, you literally got a whole bunch of comics you can go read.
oh,
Like the comics are there. You could if you're like I don't get it, great, no problem. You literally could just go and read the comics.
this
Like
coming from a guy who told me, like, you need to watch Ghost in the Shell in this order. Here's the wiki. Here's the
oh,
doctor. He could read.
I'm not even gonna get into that. That is a
That that
whole
that,
bag.
that was that was the whole thing destroyed by Hollywood. But the reason the guy didn't get it, TLDR, was because he didn't see himself front and center in those stories, and it's not about him,
Hmm,
or it's been about him. People like him for too long.
I agree. I agree.
Ugh.
Going back to your point earlier about initial forays into tabletop. Your first game was Pathfinder, you said?
No, my first friend was 5e D&D.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I was like,
Mhm.
wow, that must have been a trial by fire. Like 1E Pathfinder's your first game? Jesus.
It was advanced. It was D&D advanced.
For me, actually, I got into D&D because I used to listen to The Adventure Zone. Now,
Mhm.
The Adventure Zone is a show that I think everyone, including the McElroys themselves, would agree was lightning in a bottle. It was, at the time, great because it allowed me to see that D&D wasn't just like Viking fantasy, as you mentioned earlier, and so on. It was like, it was wacky, it was toony, it was so on. I was like, oh, these are stories. And you roll dice to make sure the stories make sense or are fair. And I got that from there. That was my first foray into it. My second foray was actually a movie on YouTube. It's an old movie now, maybe like 15 years old, something like that, called The
Mhm.
Gamers: Darkness Rising, done by Dead Gentleman Productions, and it's a very obviously homemade film about a bunch of. I'm assuming they're playing like advanced or maybe 3.5 because it's definitely not 5e. Just playing. You've got you've got a table full of white dudes, varying like sizes of guy, and they bring in a girl, and it's the very typical like oh a girl, oh gosh she's gonna be terrible, but then she's she plays smart and she plays as a role player rather than just like a hit the thing, get the points, kick down the door
Because she's playing at 200%.
because she's playing at 200%. Exactly, you beat me to it, but yes, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. And again, it's a situation where you can look at that. And say, okay, I understand. This teaches me a bit more about the plight of a femme person at the table, which I didn't have listening to Adventure Zone. The problem was that it was rooted in a lot of like 90s humor, which is all. I have a soft spot for it, but I'm fully aware that a lot of it's problematic. So it's like it is what it is.
But if I recall correctly, and the internet uh will scout me later for it, but the very first editions, especially made by Gary Gygax, had women and female characters have worse stats than male characters.
Oh, I don't
The
doubt it.
female
Sure.
characters could not mechanically be as strong, and that was very clearly flavored purposefully by these awful, awful views held by Gygax.
Yeah, I definitely agree that like I think the problem is that when you go backwards through geekdom from the modern day, where it's I think once you got stuff like the Big Bang Theory, geekdom's just like another facet of personality these days. But when you start going backwards, there's a lot of mean spiritedness to geekdom because there's a lot of
How
like,
diplomatic.
hey, I try.
You do.
But there's a lot of mean spiritedness to geekdom, it's born from often coming from being like the downtrodden. This is again like in the 70s through to early 90s, mid 90s, where the geeks were the ones who got bullied, pushing lockers, and they were nerds and so that. Geeks weren't tech billionaires and not and geek cool and stuff like that at the time so much. So their idea of being cool was being kind of
Mm.
mean, you know?
Was gatekeeping so they oh, I know the type. I know the type. I had a friend
Mm,
who D&D devotee played since first edition
mm.
said he couldn't stand bards as a class because why should they be allowed to get all the good stuff when we had to suffer as wizards? Why is it cool now when I was ostracized? Why do everyone else get it easier? And it's like, so you remember how shit it was. You want other people to go through the same as you. Why wouldn't you want them
That
to
that is a large part, unfortunately, where
better?
the impotent rage of nerddom comes from, where it's like, well, I went through all this hard shit, so you should too. It's like, I don't have to, actually. That seems like a pain. That's nobody should have done. You shouldn't have to go through it. I don't want to go through it. There's no I understand the concept of a trial by fire, of hazing and such. I get it. But if you don't have to do it, why do it? Like, if I'm already here and I want to be engaged, I want to do this thing, there's no need to make it shitty for me. Just because
No,
it's shitty
there
for you.
isn't.
You
And
should take the time to be like, oh, thank God it's easier now. I can get more people to play, rather than being like, what do
that's
you
the
mean you don't
thing.
want to get your ass kicked?
There are so many more people to play. What let's say the rising tide, a
Yes,
tide,
yes,
an incoming
yes.
tide raises all boats.
Mm.
I mean, thanks to it's now chic to be a nerd, right?
Yes. Oh, yes,
Marvel
sure.
comics are all in. Hot Topic is like covered in
Mm.
all this stuff. It wasn't like that when I started in the
God,
'90s.
yes. Yes, same.
Um, the advances because the audience is so big has been able to fuel the Critical Role show on Amazon. Um, even things that were that were super niche now have this really hardcore audience that has
We just went
demonstrated that
through
they
a
want to
huge
spend the money.
revival of like nerd stuff. I mean,
There are
you could,
gemstone dice now, and they're not even that
yeah,
rare anymore to have. Like they're still rare at they're expensive, but they're very
you
accessible,
can
and
buy
you can go
Swarovski
get them.
Pokemon. You can go and buy a tiny £1 million Pikachu if you want to, because nerds, geeks cool now. That's the way it is. And also, a lot of the geeks got a lot of money, so I understand that there's a weird disconnect between the fact that geeks don't have to be dicks and the fact that they're like, well, people were dicks to me 15 years ago, so I'm going to still be a dick now. And it's like, all right, you don't have to though. You can chill out.
Chill out,
Yeah, you
please,
can chill out. You can be cool about this. If
or
you're being a dick, you can be cool. If you're a wizard, and you don't like bards, chill out. Just relax. Also,
relax.
people who complain about bards get on my nerves because, like, if you no, it's true though. If you're mad that the bard can do a roll and like I'm doing a charisma roll and it just happens to get like a 20 whatever, there's nothing stopping you from just being a nice dude. You can be a nice dude. You don't have to have like 25 in charisma. You can just be a nice guy. And most GMs and NPCs will be like, huh, well, Macamedius the wizard is a pretty nice dude, and he's usually not really, he's not still this one before. I'll believe him because you're just not playing a power hungry moron who's just like, well, I'll firebomb them then. I'll fireball them. Well, what are you gonna do about it? That's so many people I play with wizards. And I
Oh
these
God,
goddamn wizards
and
out
it's
here.
coming from the wizard.
Actually, I am coming for wizards. No, but I mean, like, look. if you're mad that a class is designed to be
Fun.
fun,
Oh my
just
god,
have fun.
fun.
Just say. In fact, there's nothing saying like. Firstly, you can be just a good dude. You can just be a good dude wizard. And secondly, if you want to have fun, like I'm not saying you get to like roll to juice all the time because that's really boring. That's so boring. The old meme of I roll to juice. Like, listen, you better. I'm sitting at this table. You better seduce me, right? I'm not. You can't just roll a twin and go. I get in bed. No, absolutely not. Like, get out of here.
I want to hear the haiku you wrote for me. I
Absolutely.
want you
And
to
then
look. I want you to hold my hand across the table and look in my eyes. Of course, with all safety tools and consent given.
yeah, I'm not
But
with the holding
I
hands.
want
Just
to.
get off the way I'm down.
I want to see it, and I want you to make me blush.
Yeah, and I don't care if you roll a five. I don't care if you do a good job and you roll a five. I'll be like, yeah, you know what, you stutter your words, but it's sweet enough that he yeah he's vibing with it. But make
And
the effort.
all
Don't
these
just.
things. Go ahead. Finish your sentence.
I was gonna say, just don't boil it all down to like just like having a better modifier and a dice roll because like, you're missing out on being the character. Clenched fists again.
And this is all an allegory for making space for new ideas, new people, new concepts.
Yeah,
One, they're not new; they just existed in a place where you, the old, you
new to
being the
you,
old
new to
one,
you.
have prevented outsiders, have dehumanized and delegitimized those experiences. So they're new to you. Sorry. So new.
Mm,
It adds to the game. It
yeah,
doesn't detract in any way, shape, or form. We are not replacing you. There is so much space. And even if we are making spaces that are exclusive or for or prioritize these marginalized communities, there is still ratio a million to one more spaces where that is not the default.
absolutely,
A
absolutely.
100%. Oh man, I feel like I need a mic to drop, but this is expensive. It's on
just punch
arm.
the mic. Just punch. Just bam.
No, it's going to give feedback and it's not pleasant for the editing. Ah,
Um.
so
Oh, sorry, go on.
that's no, I was going to say that's kind of what we're about here.
Mm,
That's what you and I specifically are trying to do in the
for
communities
sure.
we're running with,
Absolutely.
and
And that's why I'd like to say, like, these conversations can seem, um, I don't want to say uncomfortable, but just different. If you're watching this now, and if you are, a 35-year-old white man with brown hair and glasses, don't feel like it's an attack. It's not. It's not an attack. This is fully just.
I'm looking people in chat. I'm looking at people we know, and I'm like, uh
No,
oh,
well, that's cool. Listen. Again, when I say that, I don't say it like, "haha, you fool." I mean, it's like, cool. If you're the person that I'm talking to about this situation, don't assume that I'm coming at you from a place of derision, of um, I'm not looking down on you at all. I understand that. Hey, that's just who you are. That's the game you play with. That's fine. But I am saying, make the effort to enhance your life with new styles, new voices, new backgrounds. It benefits you as much as it benefits everybody else. You become a more rounded person. You become a better player. Even just in your normal life, you just become more full because you've opened yourself up to these new experiences, these new people. To you, as we mentioned, they've existed the whole time, but to you, these new people, these new ideas, you'll find that not only is it like I'm sorry, cars
yeah,
outside.
yeah, yeah.
You'll find that not only is it like is it better in the long run for you, but also like firstly, you just opened up a whole new avenue of people to play with. Like there's so many people out there who aren't that default character, if you will, that
Mm-hmm.
you are now able to play with all kinds of people. And the more you do, and the better you do, the more of an ally you become, the more people want to play with you. Like how we were talking just now about how much we appreciate your Mercers and your Mulligans. That's because those guys went out there and did the work, and now they're top of the field. People, nobody has a bad word to say about Mulligan that I've ever heard.
I, I, I will be so sad if anything comes out. I know you shouldn't put your heroes on pedestals. I
Sure,
recognize them for the good work they do, and I hope they continue to do that. And they've lifted up people who are taking that mantle and who are doing good work. It's not to say that people like Abriya Agar, people like Tanya DePass, Cypher of Fear,
Yes,
quote
yes.
unquote, needed the platforms because they are themselves talented and deserving individuals,
Mhm.
but they do share the spotlight they have. That for biases and other not good reasons, people like them wouldn't have had the spotlight.
Mm.
We get to know more about them and we get to also treasure them. And people like them are now in turn doing heavy lifting. The Jasper Cartwrights are doing heavy lifting. The Draconics are doing heavy lifting. Indrani, Nanagon Dice from India, is doing heavy lifting. So, and the heavy is relative, is comparative, whatever you might think about it is. And in any capacity, heavy lifting might be doing it for your own in-person community, for your own table. And that is really heavy lifting depending where you are geographically too. But that I'm going to say from Ida to you is not an impossible thing.
Hmm.
And even if you're not going to succeed right away or at all, the endeavor and the thought doing that matters. And I believe you can. So try it.
Absolutely. You know, I'll be honest. I would be remiss to even try and top that speech. So, like, I'm not saying anything like if I say anything, I sound like a fool compared to either right now.
No,
So
no.
maybe we should
I,
just like cut
I,
there.
I got that from your speech because I didn't want to add to that specific topic about heroes. I wanted to bring it to like the in person because I live
Hmm.
in the Netherlands, which demographically, population wise, does have a much higher percentage of ethnic Dutch white Caucasian people than they do POC,
Hmm.
and it's been a challenge. But I hustled, and now I finally got a fellow BIMPOC POC, and I'm like, yes, it's
Yeah.
gonna grow. I got two then, and then I got three in my country where I reside, and I'm like, it's happening.
Awesome.
That one person
Awesome.
is 100% increase. The two-person is a 200% increase. Boom.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's that's great to hear because it's like we mentioned before. When you can't see yourself in the thing that you love, it can be heartbreaking. So finding that 300% rise in BIMPOC is good for you. I'm happy for you. I mean, I'm here in the UK. We're a bit more diverse than that, thankfully. I will say in London, you go out to like Yorkshire, not so much, but where I am lucky enough to have a pretty diverse community, which I'm thankful for. And I feel like again, that's just one city. Like we're on the internet, you can look left and find somebody. It is not hard to make the effort, and I know that it can seem awkward to say something like to have the courage that someone like Ida has or that Three Black Halflings does and say out loud with your whole chest, I'm looking to just speak with um, BIMPOC peoples, queer peoples, um, because that's what I want in my life. I want at my table. But the more it's done, the better it goes. As we said again, rising tide lifts all ships. I don't think there's. I think it's going to be hard to break that barrier for yourself, to not feel a little bit awkward, a little bit. Oh, is it okay to say this?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But just do it. It. I'm not saying you have my permission. I'm not saying like I allow you to do this.
It's not that Pan is giving you permission. It's Pan is demanding you to do this.
Yeah,
It's very different vibe. Do
yeah.
it.
I'm saying just do it. I'm saying just do it. Like no one's gonna give you shit. No one who matters is gonna give you shit.
That last part matters. Yeah.
Yeah, just do it.
We have solved discrimination in TTRPG Pan. We did it.
We did it. We're
We
done.
did
Yes,
it. Mission
I can
accomplished.
finally rest. Now I can die.
Oh, can kick a door down. Oh, that felt good. Oh, that was such a good chat.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man. Let's
Oh,
see. Looking at the time. That felt good to get off our
that's what I could.
chest.
Yeah, I felt like a good like. That was good. A good wine, and thank you to the audience for being there and
Yeah.
and listening and listening.
Yeah, let's
That's what my vibe is.
let's start sliding down our way. Um, Before we plug what's happening in the future at a Horde of Tales, I suggested this one to you, Pan. Can you plug one TTRPG thing that you are not respectively involved in? What is
Sure,
a
yeah.
plug you have to give out?
Oh wow, I got a couple. Like right
Mm.
now, I just got into listening to a new show called Tales from the Oasis, which is a cyberpunk red actual play. Really fun. It's got a. I don't know the diversity of the cast. I know that there is at least one queer woman in there, but it's been very fun. It's an interesting mix actually of American and English voices, British voices. Oh, there you go. Go on for Oasis there in chat. I'm really enjoying them. I'm about like 15 episodes in, and the GM at the end of every episode does this actual punk like piece about how the corporations are shafting you. Watch out for. There was one just recently about how BP, the oil company, was the ones who
Mhm.
started the whole thing, like people watching their independent carbon footprint to detract from the fact they were doing it themselves. And I was like, wow, I did not know that. That's some actual punk fuck the system kind of vibe. So I can dig that. So yeah, that's a really good one there. The Oasis. Um, oh, Gems from Cybertopia is there. There you go.
Who?
I can't. Gems player on Cybertopia. They're also on.
Oh, yeah.
Thing. I can't think of Cybertopia. I I'm trying to think of things I haven't had any hand in. Um,
Yeah, that's the tricky part.
yeah. You know what? Actually, Starfinder. I also would like to shout out No Quest for the Wicked.
Nice.
Really good work. Um, Starfinder podcasts have been having a bit of a weird one recently because 2E's coming out in like a year. So everyone's kind of like, do we want to just wait for this to come out or what? But those guys are consistently very impressive. Really good work. I've been listening to them pretty solidly since they started actually. So they're a good shout. I'd say go for them definitely. In terms of, hold on, I've got my little list here actually. Well, I the thing is, I keep a lot of like stuff I should be keeping an eye on.
Nice.
And also, it can't be involving myself either. Why don't you do one while I look at my list? Sorry, I was
I'll,
thinking there.
I'll do one people who I'm not respectively involved in at the moment. I want to shout out my good friend D'Angelo Murillo. He is a Mexican American TTRPG creator in the US, of course. And last year he came out with this amazing game called Emerald Templars. It did fantastically on Kickstarter. It has a full POC cast of story writers, people who lend their cultural expertise to creating settings for that story created by people who experience and know them. Mechanically, it's really well created. Um, I think D'Angelo's description was when comparing it to something like D&D, that why the games like D&D clearly favor one class or one build over another. You
Mm.
kind of have to be optimized and there's no room for flavor. Whereas in the game Emerald Templars, D'Angelo says you can take down God with a net.
What? Hmm.
With a net. Like in D&D, a net is also a weapon that has a single use,
Oh,
which
you know
must
what?
be
I'm thinking of a
thrown at
butterfly
range,
net.
but it can do range, but only has a range of 5 feet. So if
Wow.
you're at melee with a ranged weapon at 5 feet, you actually have disadvantage. So it makes no sense to win.
Right.
So Emerald Templars, among the many wonderful things it offers, also has this mechanical attack list. So I urge you to check out my friend D'Angelo Murillo and his game Emerald Templars. His Twitter is that underscore D'Angelo.
Nice. Um, I will lastly shout out Chaotic Wholesome. They are Kay and David. They do a lot of like reviews. They do interviews, mostly in the tabletop sphere. They also do gaming as well. I know they're working their way through Baldur's Gate right now. Like who isn't?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But
The new Kiss mechanics released.
you know, okay, look, I'm gonna get in trouble for this, but I haven't finished it. I haven't even gone like halfway through it.
It's okay. You take your time, boo.
Oh no, I like seriously like I just keep starting over again. About I get about like an hour or two in, I go, what if I was this class instead? And I just start over again. And I know you can change your class in the game. I just don't. I don't skip anything. So I've just made this different characters 6 times, started over each time, played for like 3 hours, and gone. No, I'm gonna start again. So I have
I'm
no
not
idea
gonna
what.
yuck your yum.
Hmm?
I'm not going to yuck your
Yuck
yum.
my yum. I've never heard that before. What's that?
Don't. I'm not going to say yuck to something you find yum.
Oh, I'm gonna yuck your yum. That's great.
Mm,
But yeah, chaotic wholesome. They're great. Kay's great. Dave's great. Um, just really insightful, really heartfelt uh, pair of people who I really enjoy watching and checking out and listening to. You can find them at chaotic wholesome on Twitter and on Blue Sky as well.
nice. And the last shout out from me, at least, is going to be Fey Earth. Fey Earth is run by a gentleman, a good friend called Neil, uh, from Ireland. And Fey Earth is a D20 homebrew system that also uses the native folklore from Europe itself. So the old traditional interpretations of very regional folklore. And in this universe, I think the Fae and humans live together, and it's kind of 20th century kind of setting as well.
Ah, yeah. I know the one now.
Over time, because Fate Earth used to run Tuesdays after our old D&D campaign on Hoard of Tales, we used to raid into them, and that table composition really changes over the time, where it's him and all these ladies and femmes, and him and all these ladies and femmes and POC ladies and femmes. These
Excellent.
tables are getting progressively more diverse. There is some talent I recognize, and I'm like, oh, you got Safia under, which is an amazing, talented person from Saudi Arabia.
Hmm.
And I do recall them mentioning that they're going to try for a Kickstarter in March. I think they had a Kickstarter last year or something, but had to pause or didn't complete. I don't recall, but I know that they've been working really hard on hustling, getting their material out. I think the story and the mechanics are unique and evocative, and I really recognize Neil's work in trying to also showcase, uh, diversity TTRPG talent again at European times. So shout out to Fey Earth, who are at Fey Earth everywhere.
All right.
Got one more, or we can just call it here till next time because there will be a next time.
You know what? I'll hold my one more for next time. Then in that case.
Cool. Cool. And then we get to plug what is happening here at Hoard of Tales. Let me open up the calendar because it's busy. Wednesday, on Valentine's Day. Okay. Marcus is going to be back on this stream, continuing his Pathfinder map making streams using Dungeon Draft by, I forgot the name of Dungeon Draft to the creator. I will tweet it. I've
Yeah.
tweeted it before.
Yeah.
Um,
If you come
so
to my
that
house, by the way, do make sure you bring flowers.
yeah, I was like, oh, I wonder what his wife has to say about him streaming on the 14th.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have plans. Uh,
I'm playing a game on Wednesday. my, my partner's just like, yeah, cool. We'll do this on the weekend. I think it's been a week.
that's probably why.
Yeah.
But definitely join Marcus on our channel at 7 p.m. GMT on Wednesday. Pat and you and I are going to be back on the 26th.
We are.
So in 2 weeks, Marcus will be back one more week on the 21st. And then after that, almost every goddamn day in March, starting from International Women's Day, there is going to be a game, a one shot, or panel featuring all women and femme tables.
Absolutely.
It's I may have bitten enough more than I can chew. I have a wonderful partner in crime in Darcy who's been co-planning all of this. It's massive and fantastic, and I've never been prouder of being able to share such a platform with all these amazing friends that I am making. There's going to be more news about that soon coming up. That I will PM you, Pan. You're going to be so happy about it, but I
Okay.
can't share it just
Okay.
yet.
And like from having like pick my head in occasion and stuff, you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
So yeah, smash it,
Thank you. Thank you.
smash it.
And I will say on Twitter and on Blue Sky, we kind of have hinted that we are doing a podcast of sorts. Pan, what talk to us a little bit about that.
You
Because
can't
that's
tell
the
them
whole
that.
reason. It's
No,
been
you can't.
said.
No, it's secret.
Krifu retweeted it and everything.
Oh, Griffin spilled the beans. Okay, yes, fine. All right, we can talk about it. Fine.
Yay! Talk.
Oh, I gotta talk. All right.
I just did a lot of talking. You talk
Man, okay, fine. Yes. I don't know how much I'm about to say, but yes, we do have a couple of podcast projects
now.
in. Don't do that to me. Don't make me say the thing and then you go, "Oh, really?" Now I'm giving it
Mm.
away. Fine, fine.
Mm.
Got a couple of podcast projects coming up. They are going to be um, one 5e and one Pathfinder. They will be released audio. You'll be able to get them on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, wherever you get your podcasts usually. Um, they'll be going out weekly, I believe. I think the Pathfinder maybe bi-weekly. We'll see what's going on with that there. But again,
Yeah.
keep your eyes peeled on Hoard of Tales. We have got some cool stuff coming up that you will enjoy.
Yeah. I'm so looking forward to that Pathfinder game. The cast is amazing. It is a diverse cast and it is an all European UK cast.
That's
So
right.
don't tell me that there isn't talent outside North America, outside the US, because there's powerhouses here. And when I heard the cast, I was like, I get to play the table with. It's like, yes, yes, yes.
Absolutely. It's gonna be a banger. I know we got some art coming for it. We're gonna be doing some. We're gonna really try and make this something fun, especially for you guys. So keep your eyes out for that. I
Yeah.
can't say. I'm not gonna say the name. I'm not gonna say the name. Just keep your eyes out for it. You'll find
No,
out. Yeah, you'll find out.
perfect amount to talk about. Now, Pan, what do you have yourself coming that you can plug that you are involved in?
I am actually keeping pretty sparse this month because I've got a trip at the end of the month, so I haven't got too much going on there. At the moment, I am, as ever, still continuing to play Power on Emergency Power Podcast. I have got something I want to actually run by you guys later
Ooh,
on here on Hoard of Tales. I
ooh,
won't bring it up just yet, but I thought it might be
okay.
a fun little something fun like this. It's fun just for us
Yeah,
to hang out. So we'll see how that goes.
yeah.
I'm also still on Comic Punk as well. That's coming out weekly as well as a podcast too. And that's really it for me for this month. It's such a busy month. I got so much going on. I don't think I could do any more without like exploding somewhat.
Ah, we didn't transfer the commands properly. Where can people find you on the internet should they want to stalk you?
Sure. If you want to stalk me, come find me at Stellar Encore. That's STELLAR Encore, ENCORE. That's on Blue Sky and on Twitter, where you can find me. Usually, I'll be like posting about streams, memes, dreams, schemes, and other stuff. Damn.
That went pretty good.
Dreams, memes, schemes, and
I am really impressed.
what else we have, guys? Somebody help me out here. Somebody help me out. What we got? What else? Bunch
Uh,
of schemes. No? Damn.
I am not that impromptu person. I played a bard once, and I was like, I will now compose a song, and I was just like, ah,
Was out here
like
taking a job from us
slack-jawed.
good
I was
wizards.
slack-jawed on stream. I was like, nope, I can't. Beams. Ben Newburn says beams.
Beams. Yeah, okay. Yeah, come check me out for some beams, memes, streams, themes, and dreams.
Excellent.
Excellent.
As for myself, within the next 2 weeks, I will be talking. Ju- 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 ju. I am behind the scenes planning everything at Women in Gaming Month. I am PMing a lot of people. I will say this again next time we talk here, but Krifu and I are going to be guesting on the chaotic, wholesome talk show to talk about the happenings at Hoard of
Yeah.
Tales. We're really excited about that to join their stream. That's going to be at 10:30 p.m. GMT because they lied and they didn't convert their time zones properly. And now we're up at really late at night. Boo. But we're there anyway. And on March 2nd, I'm going to be playing at Roll 20.
Really? Can you talk about that? Is that something you can talk about?
Soon.
Okay. All
I
right.
can see that much though.
Okay. All right. Whoa. Nice. 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 You.
Yes. Yes. And I will be on at least one panel at Women in Gaming. I'm going to be talking with Darcy, the other organizers. We're just going to have an hour and a half, which is like, we're tired, but we did it.
Yeah,
Look, we're not talking about anything. We just need this time to relax.
it's just those two
Okay.
just having a nap. You get to come and watch them have a nap.
We are working so hard, but it's worth it. It's gorgeous. I love it. There's going to be so many games. We talked about them on Twitter a little bit, but the kind of games we have going on, we have Vassen by Free League, which is an amazing game, won all the awards. We have another Grant Howard game, a one pager called Pride and Extreme Prejudice. It is the fancy Jane Austen ladies, but they pilot mechas.
I'm sorry, what?
They pilot
That
mechas.
sounds sick.
Yes, that's
All right.
exactly what it is.
Pride and Extreme Prejudice?
Mm-hmm. By
Banging.
Grant Howard. We have interviews going on with some really big talents from Europe and the UK as well, at least two of those. Really excited. We have GMs from Australia playing Capybara Caper. We have games by Cassie Mothwin, Clean Spirit. We're playing Apocalypse Keys. It's just a fantastic month that's happening. So
Mm,
really
mm.
looking forward to that.
Been a
All
busy
information
month, guys.
will be at a Hoard of Tales, and you can find me hopefully retweeting about it, but I will forget at in the pad with underscore or dashes Twitter or Blue Sky. Is busy. Total because no one's will get a mecha that thick. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's mad sick.
I believe it's Mecha and other things. It's a one pager by Grant Howitt. Look it up, run it for yourself. There's no secret. Have fun. We all trust each other. And the people we have cast are we have a very very European and UK cast across all tables,
Mm.
and almost every POC that applied immediately just like you're in, you're slotted here, 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 and here. Where we couldn't get you, scheduling and cat herding challenges aside.
That's right.
And before we go, I want to go right back to the very first topic we talked about shouting out Black TTRP creatives. One creative that I'd like to shout out is my friend Pan here,
What? Who? Where? Who is this person?
who does amazing work on many podcasts, having his 3.2 voices that are still having played with Pan. Pan is an excellent role playing partner because he will set up a volley and play back and forth with you and intuitively understands how to create a story that gives everyone that spotlight. I really appreciate that about you as a role
Oh,
player, Pan. I really enjoyed that. um, I see you on Twitter using the platform that you have to shout out other people and other creatives that are in the UK
yeah,
that
of
are
course.
POC. You are actively using your space. You are providing a welcoming sense of community everywhere you go, whether it's Hoard of Tales, whether it's on the Paizo Discord, and other places. That takes labor, that takes emotional labor, and you are putting in the work. And I see you, and
Oh,
I
no.
thank you for doing that. And keep at it. And
Look,
I'm
I'm happy
honored to know
to.
you as a friend.
Look, same to you. And honestly, like since we work together and since we become friends and stuff, I often do think like before because because I respect you and your style so much, and I love playing with you, and I love like hanging out with you. I do think Ida would do this differently, and no, I do. It makes me a better player because I'm like, I'll say things or do things like, no, Ida would do this differently. I like how she does it. I'll try that too, and I do find that from you. The back and forth, the volley, it is literally both ways. I love playing with you. You bring that energy to the table that I really vibe with, and I really feel that like people like you do make the game, the scene better. And if that's made me better, hey, great, appreciate it. Thank you.
You are welcome. It's Black History Month, so it gets to be a little bit about you. We're going to come back in October and we're going to do a lot of things in October this coming year. We better be doing it. I'm going to make sure we're going to do things in October this year. But
Sure.
we get to piggyback a little bit because we are. Uh, oh man, this was nice.
Yeah,
We can do
yeah.
this. We should do this more often.
I'm down. I'm down. And again, as always, thanks to the audience too. Like it's hey, I'll happily chat about it anytime this week anyway. But like having it be a show like this is good fun. Um,
Yeah.
oh yeah, with the bad guys. Yes, I do remember the one there. Um, I think my last thing before we go out, I'd like to say
Yeah.
personally is no one should be afraid to say I'm going to try doing things differently. Whether it's for yourself or for the betterment of other people in the group you're in. If you're in a group that's worth your time, it'll all be cool. So either everything's chill, or you learn that you can move around to other places. But either way, don't be afraid to improve and change. That's Pan's corner for the evening.
That it is. I'm not going to add anything else to that. No notes from my end. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. If you'd like to support us here at Hoard for Tales, thanks to those who are watching us in the chat. Thanks for those who are watching in the future on the VOD. We have all our community links posted down below. You can find us on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, YouTube at Hoard of Tales. If you want to support what we do and you're in the capacity to give a small tip, we have a Kofi as well, which we are slowly
Yep.
going to start filling with content. Maybe in the future, what would Ida do bracelets? Who knows?
I'll get one. That's good.
Anything you can do to engage with us, join us on our Discord, and be part of the community that we talked about that we want to see you, we'd love to have you on board, especially if you are a member of a marginalized community and especially if you are outside the US. That is kind of the vibe we are going for, but everyone is welcome nonetheless. And Pan and I will see you in 2 weeks on
Mm.
the 26th. Same place, same time. Hopefully, we have the gremlins, but now that I said it out loud, I ruined it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have the gremlins.
Without the gremlins. Okay. And then this is we're going to wave and go off into the night. And if you look
Goodbye.
closely outside your window, Pan will be there.
I am there, and no one can help you. No one can help you.
It's okay, it's worth it. Just surrender. Bye.
Ciao.